We start off with thing number one, DUVAL disaster. Urban Meyer is a hot mess right now. Meyer decided to stay in Ohio for the weekend and was caught on camera at a bar in Columbus with a woman who was not his wife. The video obviously went viral and now it is a PR mess for the Jaguars. Andy, it gets worse. Here's the Twitter thread from NFL Network's Michael Silver saying the Urban Meyer situation in Jacksonville has reached a crisis point, especially in the locker room. One player told me he has zero credibility in that stadium. He had very little to begin with. Bottom line, said the player, it's bad. I don't know how he's gonna function. Jaguars owner Shad Khan released this statement after the debacle saying, what I will say is, his conduct last week was inexcusable. I appreciate Urban's remorse, which I believe is sincere. Now he must regain our trust and respect. That will require a personal commitment from Urban to everyone who supports, represents, or plays for our team. I am confident he will deliver. You're in Jacksonville, Andy, so talk to us about what the vibe's like down there, and is this the beginning of the end of Meyer and DUVAL?
Sorry, I'm laughing at that statement from the team's owner. Yes, I think it is the beginning, and it should be. I mean, Urban Meyer has been an embarrassment basically since day one, since he took over down here. He hired that strength and conditioning coach for one day who was, had accusations about racism and bullying in Iowa. And then later on, he added 34-year-old Tim Tebow to the roster as a tight end who had played in the league for 9 years, never played the position. I mean, that had to make the locker room be like, what are we doing here? And then he had Trevor Lawrence battling for the number one job throughout the preseason, missing key snaps and a lot more experience he could have gotten before the season. And then they went to Houston and lost to the Texans in week one. They were the worst team in football. And then he just let his team fly home from Cincinnati. He said, hey, I'll see you guys in a couple of days. I'm going to go spend some time with my grandkids, which is unheard of for an NFL coach to do during the regular season. And I don't think he spent much time with his grandkids.
I was going to say.
So this has been a mess. And I don't know what planet Urban Meyer is living on, but he should no longer be allowed in the Jacksonville Jaguars facility because this run should be over. Like, just cut your losses and just say, we'll see you. Go enjoy your time at USC because this time in Jacksonville should be over.
I think you hit the nail on the head, Andy. I hope Shad Khan gets the memo. But while everyone is fixated on Urban's off-the-field antics, on the field last week was the biggest regular season game we have seen in a long time, which brings us to our thing number two, homecoming memories. What I want to know from you, Andy, the circus has obviously come and gone from Brady's homecoming in New England, but what I want to know is your biggest takeaway from watching that game that you think will have the lasting impact on both the Pats and Brady.
Well, this is going to shock to you, but I think that my biggest takeaway was Mac Jones being a very good rookie quarterback. Tom Brady had a great game. Happy he got the win. It was a fun game to watch. But as a Patriots fan, losing the game, it stinks. You're 1-3, whatever. Mac Jones showed all the poise Sunday night in that circus, in that rainstorm, playing against Brady. He never looked wide-eyed. He kept his poise. He threw a couple touchdown passes, threw for almost 300 yards. And I wish they would have gone for it on that fourth down play because I think he could have picked up that first down. If he picks up that first down and they get that win, like Mac Jones' show has arrived. But I think my biggest takeaway is the Patriots are in pretty good hands with this rookie quarterback.
Brady got to play at home this weekend. You were obviously excited. Kyrie Irving, however, cannot play at home, which brings us to our thing number three, Kyrie conundrum. So the NBA vaccine conversation is starting to have a real impact on teams, as people can imagine. Kyrie Irving cannot practice with the Nets due to the local COVID vaccine ordinances, and Kyrie himself is not vaccinated as it stands now. When asked if the team would consider moving practices out of New York to accommodate Kyrie, here's what head coach Steve Nash had to say. No, this is our home. This is where we're going to practice, and we have almost a whole group. So, Andy, is this the beginning of the end for Kyrie in Brooklyn?
It should be the beginning of the end for Kyrie in Brooklyn. I mean, if you can't practice with your team and you can't play home games and you can't play against the Knicks, and you can't play against other teams and cities that have these restrictions, like, what are you doing with this guy on your team? It'd be like living in Juneau, Alaska in January and spending $1,200 on golf clubs that you can't use. Sure, they look great in your garage. Oh, I love those irons. That new driver looks awesome. Can you go out there and use them? No, you can't. So why have them around? The Nets, if I'm Kevin Durant, I'm like, dude, can you go get that vaccine and we can go win a championship? Because if not, the Nets need to start looking at ways to get Kyrie out of town. I don't know, maybe send him down to Philadelphia, bring Ben Simmons up to Brooklyn and see what they can do then.
Hey, Hey sports fans, if you want to watch more sports seriously, be sure to check out these clips right here. And make sure you're subscribed to the channel to see all the great content from us here at USA Today Sports.